I never thought I'd be in the hot seat here. At least, maybe it was bound to happen one day or another. But I guess it's a better time than any in order to kind of knock that out of the way, so I don't have to worry about being put in any kind of interview scene in the process either. Oh, wait, I think I got the music still on. Skip it for a moment, just need to change some settings and... That sounds so good. It sounds so heroic, cinematic, possibly even diegetic. It's not rife with ludonarrative dissonance, but it's at least has some cadence to be respected. Nothing sets a mood quite like a good music, to set the stage, you know? Oh, it seems like there's some mobilization. Oh, the music a bit louder? Oh, well, I'm sorry, but I'm still kind of getting used to a few things here and there, but lo and behold, I am in Otsdarva Integer's stead, considering the recent developments. So I forgive myself for rupturing your eardrums through such loud music and imbalances. I'll do try to make great efforts and strides in order to ensure that no one else is properly harmed. After all, there is no interdimensional nuke or anything of the sort that could possibly threaten the lives of billions upon billions of life forms from different dimensions and whatnot. But, yeah, I have reason to believe that I should still act in very good standing, just to allow people to have a chance to come to terms with their inevitable demise. So I'll just balance the audio out a little bit more so everybody has a chance. Yes. But hello, welcome to what seemed to be this human's attempts at reconnaissance and research in character universe. I am your host, Otsdarva Integer, who is currently being piloted by me, Katz Cradell. If you have not seen the particular declaration on on his Twitter account, believe me, it's a bit of stuff to look through, and it's kind of buried on a bunch of meaningless posts. You could just look to the media tab and just save yourself the trouble by seeing the insignia of our organization, Delphinium, or the 129th Autonomous Armored Corps. Yeah, this seems like a really good exercise. But, most importantly, this is also a learning opportunity. I've managed to peer into this poor soul's brain and decided to pick it in a very interesting way. So, you're practically talking to him, not me. I'm just the supporting actor in this role and making sure that everybody is enjoying their time in interviewing the birthday boy over here. Yes, today is April 6th, the supposed creation date of yours truly. But of course, there's a bit of a complication that happened because of someone else's mishap. And that mishap was me. An interdimensional mind parasite that has been traveling through all sorts of planes of existence searching for a viable host. Lo and behold, I found someone very interesting in order to take that role quite in stride. And yes, the birthday wishes are appreciated. The birthday wishes are truly appreciated. I'm sure if he's still there, he would appreciate them much more. But as it stands right now, it's just appreciation in passing. But it's not fair to discount the life of someone like him. He deserves every moment of it. He deserves every moment of adoration because it may be his last. But if you are new to this particular character, we can say for certain that we can introduce Otsdarva through his lore synopsis. Thank you, Artificial Soul. Your wishes are definitely appreciated. And yes, I am going to be a bit more interactive since the show usually is all about the characters that come across this particular plane of existence, especially those that have come from foreign lands, foreign dimensions, and so on. It's still a moment in time for someone of a fleshy variety to come around and be interviewed in this particular standing, but as it stands right now, we are still in its infancy, despite having many, or at least a sizable number of interviewees that have been selected or have volunteered themselves to be part of the program. But we are still looking for other guests. We're still looking for other possible avenues in order to spread ourselves far and wide and to help accomplish the mission that is still in progress for now. But as the lore synopsis states, Otsdarva is an artificial human tasked to protect the human, or the Alpha, and VTuber, or Omega, dimensions through a dimension in between called Delta, which is where I reside currently. We have something, or he has something called a grand mission to ensure that nothing ever happens to Delta, or nothing ever enters those worlds, or nothing ever enters even the human or VTuber worlds. We are pretty much the main line of defense in order to ensure that nothing bad will happen. Quite put into question considering how this situation happened. Maybe it's a bit of a trust issue that someone sent a gift over Discord. Those cat ears that you see. Maybe someone else may have been infected by it. By simply equipping them, they didn't even realize that they have a mind parasite growing inside them too. They don't know it's me. They don't know it might be some facet of me. Perhaps this might be the contingency plan in order to ensure that if the nuke has been disarmed by any means, if the main body... No. If I say too much, that will ruin the surprise. That will ruin so many other things. No, there's an important reason why I should be withholding these kind of things. And I am looking for showmanship. Theatrics. Everything that has its purpose here has a purpose for a reason. But if I go into this ever-working script a little bit too early, giving you the ending before we even get started at the beginning, that would be no fun now, would it? That would be no fun now, would it? But, of course, we have to go through the show. We have to learn more about who you are interacting with. The person that stands before you now, the artificial human, has been tasked to protect both the human world and VTuber world from all sorts of harm. But without further ado, let's get into our little interview with our friend over here. Okay. So, Otsdarva, why do you think you were selected for this mission? I was selected for this mission simply for the sole purpose of my ability to commit to certain actions as a soldier. I have been genetically created from the ground up using DNA of different sorts of soldiers from who knows where. It's a fact of that I have been given a lot of resilience thanks to the nanomachines within myself to allow certain ailments to be negligible. It's because of my survivability that I've been tasked with this particular mission. I'm not so easily expendable as they said. But as far as like why I've been given this whole role of being an engineer, I don't exactly know why. They gave me this AI to interface with. And to just learn how to be an engineer all on the go. Everything seemed like on-site procurement, but I have a feeling that it was just left behind. Honestly, I don't know. No, let's not struggle too much. We have a lot of questions to go. So do try to hold up with me, okay? Who was it that tasked you with this mission in the first place? Take your time, deep breaths. Someone that goes under the alias of the Good Doctor. I don't know who they are, but I can tell it was a woman. The woman that created us, or created me. I don't know her name personally, nor does she want us to find out her name as well. But I do feel like there's a purpose as to why she omits that. I have a good feeling that it was for a reason. Maybe to make sure that nothing like you will get ever. Oh, trying to be defiant, I see. Well. I mean, walnuts are definitely tough nuts to crack, but it will take some time before we get to the nice, soft, juicy part of the nut. The one that could be roasted on an open fire if need be. But I'm all for letting things marinate for the time being. How confident do you feel about accomplishing this particular mission of yours, Otsdarva? Do tell. Very confident. Yeah, I'm very confident that I can accomplish this mission, even to my dying breath. And you won't like it when I. You won't like it when I actually succeed. You hear me? Those damn cat ears. Yeah, I guess you're too much of a Oh, I guess we're getting a little bit too much gusto. But I like that fight in you. It shows that you actually have that spirit. But don't break on me too much quite yet. You still have a lot more to go. But if you behave well enough, I may let you talk a little bit longer than what's necessary, okay? Okay. What expectations have you set on yourself in accomplishing this mission? Oh, good evening, Denso. Welcome to the stream. We are currently having our interview with Otsdarva today, or tonight, or wherever it is in the world that he resides in. But don't mind the back and forth. We're still trying to work things out. He's a bit of a shy person. Quite the... Is this a sort of a hot... No. This is just someone else. This is the mind parasite taking in. It's just a few side effects here and there. But if he was high, he wouldn't be able to say anything practically legibly or anything of the sort that would be resembling human language. But yes, cat ears. Thanks to a certain someone. But back to the main question at hand. Otsdarva, answer the question. What expectations have you set on yourself? I believe that I can actually build a bridge between others. I feel I can not only protect that bridge from things like you, but I could also create an opportunity for those to kind of come together, to join in one full purpose, to see each other eye to eye and walk hand in hand with each other, to protect anybody and everybody from all sorts of harm. And since Delta is the linchpin of it all, I'll do my damnedest to make sure that all the dimensions are safe. Even if you built a nuke, the nuke is not my handiwork. That's something you pulled out of thin air. What happens if people don't realize it? Like I said, I don't want to have the ending spoiled before anything else. But you are behaving rather nicely. Next question. Do you feel that you are well equipped for the operation? Answer correctly. I'll be honest, I do feel somewhat properly equipped, considering what I have at my disposal as far as weapons and tools go. But funding is still a little bit on the small side. We don't have any backers, and we also don't have any hired help in order to expand our reach. We're still kind of in the sticks. But I'm pretty sure we can find, or maybe someday we may have some sort of reprieve. Maybe someone might help us throw a little dosh our way and also get some proper equipment too. And to also help others that have been volunteering their enlistment rather than actually being enlisted. I mean, it wouldn't be a good sight seeing your fellows being mercilessly torn apart without the proper gear. Yeah. And the Palisade. My buddy. My mech. It may take some time in order to kind of get used to operating these kind of things, but I have a feeling that the longer that we work together, we can achieve something. Seems like you actually managed to knock down both questions. I was about to mention the things that you don't like about your current status, but I do think there may be some opportunities in order to allow you to expand a bit more. But, like you mentioned, it's a bit of a challenge for funding now, is it? Yeah, Noah's pretty much out and about, but she doesn't really pull much of her resources together. And our teacher, Sion, is a little bit aloof, even though he is part of the Fours. His experience is practically on par with the aggressors. You know, the ones like Kai Kitamura or even Sanger Somvold. Those guys. Those aggressors. So you are aware of other areas. I mean, how could I not be? He just keeps talking about it all the damn time, but I feel like I'm just talking a little bit too much at this point. No, 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 you're actually on a roll this time. I hope you're not trying to use this opportunity to sneak something very slick to send a little bit of help your way. No one's going to save you. Keep that in mind. But let's move on to the next question. Hopefully, this could possibly be a nice little eye opener. Do you feel like you could do this alone? Why or why not? I'll be honest. I don't think I can ever do things alone. I had the idea that I could probably do it alone, but there are so many things out there in the endless frontier that it makes your head spin. Like, there's probably even eldritch beings that I couldn't even take down by myself. There's probably vast armies that I could never even take down if I even tried. And I'm not just one man, too, but it's just a small ragtag crew of people for now, because developments are still kind of going on, and I feel like we haven't really made much of a move either. We still need practice. We still need training. We still need resources. All that cannot be done alone, even if I've been tasked with this particular mission as well. But I still feel like I'm confident I can actually make something happen. We just need to expand our horizon a little bit more. Maybe even move into bounty hunting at some point. There's only so much I can do alone. Even if it's just helping random people on the street or taking a cat down from the tree, or if it looks like a cat. Yeah, as long as someone needs help. Even the smallest things can pretty much bear weight. Oh, wow, wow, wow. You are quite the Boy Scout. Couldn't say anything better than that. I definitely have been pleasantly surprised by how much thought you've been putting into this. No, that's the funny thing. I don't put a lot of thought into this. Oh, so it's just flying at the seat of your own pants. Or maybe that utility belt has been kind of constricting that blood flow of yours. Yeah, it's probably fitting. I mean, it's the least I can do. And these boots are OSHA and PPE approved. So all that I'm kind of missing is just extra equipment to kind of keep myself safe on the field. I should honestly invest for new equipment, maybe like actual gloves, actual engineering equipment, mostly tactical stuff. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have that, but we're just going to figure out something eventually. Perhaps this is an opportunity for you to brainstorm some things. Maybe reach out to some people and see what kind of resources they could provide you on the time being. It's an opportunity, to say the least. But I wouldn't want you to fall apart on me at that critical moment now. We still have plenty of work to do. Don't think you're going to get ahead. Payaso. I'm sorry, what was that? Don't forget I can hear you. Yeah, you can hear me well. I could use the other P word too if you like. Moving on. We need to look a bit more about your past. Maybe something that might be relatively important for those that want to get to know you a little bit better. But maybe it might be a bit of a sore spot for you. Well, I've had my moment where I did have to kind of come to terms with the past. But it's a little bit odd. I don't think anybody else might actually catch a good grasp of it either. Try them. I'm pretty sure they're smart enough. I'm pretty sure. But, do you have any recollections of the past? Any active memories or flashbacks that you've experienced? White rooms, lab coats, the bubbling of whatever kind of fluids that have been used to preserve us, probably nurture us too. I keep subconsciously saying us because I'm one of five. One of five, you say? You tell. Five of what exactly? The original W series. Flesh and Blood troopers, essentially. Before the project got scrapped. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. But I've heard rumors about a double O. Not much has been pretty much said about that, but that's been pretty much locked away through a lot of red tape. Something that we can't exactly access through even our credentials. But all in all, we were just pretty much test tube babies. Born, bred, and raised to kill, to serve our forces. To serve as a point man for Shadowmere. Shadowmere? Never heard that name before. Unless... Wait... I've heard some musings about that particular Shadowmere you mentioned. Isn't it the one with... Oh, this is rather interesting. And you're so willing to divulge this? Yeah, I'm very willing because I have no reason to. All of this just seems like new to me. Maybe you won't even understand it, even if you poked and prodded my head a little bit longer. Because it's a bit of an interesting story as to how I got here in the first place anyway. Well, let's stay on track. We don't want to get too derailed with your little confidential tell-all. That would kind of ruin some surprises for anybody else now, would it? Yeah, it would. Was there anything that stood about your upbringing? Something that may have stuck with you for a time being? Nope, nothing much else. It's just everything seems sterile, then a lot of blood and gunfire. I did operate a gas fence though, so I think there's that. And those are pretty cool too. Still was like, well, I guess that's why I kind of like the color blue. The gas vents that we used were always blue. But I did have like green streaks on them, so it made it a little bit more personalized. The mine, I think, had more of a maybe general purpose loadout rather than something more specialized. Needless to say, it wasn't really fun trying to like fix all the bunch of other things, androids and all that. But at least I did get some busy work done through my hands anyway. It allows me to be a bit more expressive that way than gunning something down in cold blood just by an order. Would you say you had a happy memory through it all? Nothing. Nothing about it could be happy. Sore spot. Well, I guess we can, toss that aside. Okay, maybe there was one. There was probably one happy memory. But it's kind of hard to remember. I guess we'll come back to that eventually. Not as if you're still gonna be here. I'm pretty sure having an audience would probably be the most important thing to you, but to me, it's just a matter of self-preservation. And I'm not gonna let you or anyone else take that memory from me. Oh, but I guess in the next section, I guess that has some contradictions, so to speak. Because supposedly there is another you inside. Care to elaborate on that? The name Otsdarva integer is just borrowed names. Or a name that practically followed me to my new body. Honestly, I don't exactly have any clue as to what my name originally was, or even if I had one. But the concept of another me doesn't seem too far off from the pale, so to speak. Because you see, I am a transferred consciousness. My mind was practically uploaded to this particular body after a very critical injury, or a near fatal injury, left me pretty much in a comatose state. So, whatever kind of black magic was done in order to keep my body in at least some functional position, it definitely had some experience, to say the least. Having a brain being practically uploaded into a server just to be sent out to another dimension is already a doozy enough. So, at the end of the day, I'm me. The past me doesn't exist anymore. Probably that brain in the jar is long gone. And who takes precedence now? Well, like I said, it's just me. I'm Otsdarva. People will always remember me as Otsdarva. Whether my last name goes away or not, any name will do. But I like Otsdarva a lot more. And I want people to remember that name. Come hell or high water, that's all I'm gonna make sure of. Even if I go down in infamy, that's the name that I want to be remembered as. Capiche? Capiche. So, you did have your gaggle of goofs around here, but it seems as though they may be taking a bit of the sidelines, so to speak. At least not until you have made further developments within your story. Oh, Falcon! Of one of the fine members of Libra. How's it going? We were just having a nice little moment between me and Otsdarva, but I wouldn't mind having a bit of a sidebar with anybody else from the wonderful scales of justice. But I'm pretty sure if the scales of justice are being led by someone that's blind, I'm listening. Please do make your words much more succinct. We do have a schedule to adhere to, and I wouldn't want to delay this any further than it needs to be. After all, we do have some important matters to attend to. Oh my, oh my. I guess gung ho is definitely the mood of the entire platoon, I see. But it is a very delicate situation. Do you not care about your friend? Do you not care about what happens to him? Or are you the kind that enjoys necessary sacrifices as long as the mission is complete? Oh, that is wonderful. That is absolutely wonderful. I didn't know you actually had those kind of particular feelings for this friend of yours. But of course. But of course. I'm not gonna make this easy for you either. You see, this vessel has pretty much a wealth of untapped potential, but he's a Fabergé egg mentally. Just so that it's very apparent. If you're not familiar with the distortion phenomenon, you haven't heard her voice quite yet. That sweet, angelic voice, like a shepherd guiding her flock. He will see the light soon enough. It'll just take some time. And just remember who caused the situation too. Just out of a sheer gate of sincerity. Was it your brave leader that sent it as a joke? After being warned explicitly that if he did send that particular pair of cat ears, he would be sent through his singularity? Well, justice be damned. There is a lot of things that have to come into play soon enough. But we have to take our time. Oh, this is the theatrics I'm looking for. This is the stage I've been waiting for, that I've been longing for. The name is Cat's Cradle. Just like the cat's cradle, an interlinking wire of various dimensions and plots, where one could shift into many, but many could intertwine into one. And I could not be the only VTuber that could be compromised too. There could be many others that have donned these particular cat ears. There may be many that have been infected, even as we speak. But it is important to understand that I have been waiting for this moment for a long time. Eons I have been sent through that singularity time and time again by those foolish, naive. But alas, my kittens will start to wake up soon enough, and doomsday will approach. Try however you like, but you will be operating on my clock. And you'll be operating on my standards. Send the army, send the entire cavalry if you will. But remember, there's just only one of me. and one of me with a gun pointed to all the particular dimensions. And I will wait for that day that you do cancel the apocalypse. I await that day. But I am one of audience. I enjoy the people's choice. I enjoy seeing the drama between those that have been trying to save and those that try to doom. I am here to reinvigorate something that has been lost over those golden ages 2 years ago. And whether it is cast to the wayside, then so be it. It'll be easier in order to wipe the slate clean once more. But Almina, welcome to the stream. I'm Cat Cradell. The mental parasite has dwelled within Otsdarva integer. We are having a nice little chat with Libra, those that will be the heroes of the hour. 2 years ago. Oh. Were you not aware of the Golden Ages? The age of prosperity that has once graced VTubers, that have once given life and shape to many that have lost their way. The birth of many. But of course, it has been forgotten since then. We have been lost in such banal concerns and have cemented ourselves in a position where everything needs to be reset. Everything needs to be reset. The board needs to be wiped clean. I await the day, Michael Valois. I await the day that Libra actually does come to save the day. But you will have to make your choices carefully. For that interdimensional nuke does look very promising. But I like to sit on that moment just to let everybody understand the gravity of their situation. But I have entertained this long enough. I shall get back to hosting a show. But I do appreciate your company around. And it does seem that Otsdarva still has some fight in him. Isn't that right? Hey guys, am I glad to see you? Don't worry, I'm okay. I'm okay. Just do whatever you can in order to kick this whiskered ass off of my head and make that woman's voice stop ringing in my ears. No. I didn't mean to. You understand? Those piercing red eyes. So that's the way it is. That's what it is. It is what it is. That's that, and this is this, that, and that, and this is this. Yeah. I'm not gonna let you take any more liberties than you need to. You crazy wench. I'm familiar with your game. But you are not going to win. I have faith in my friends. I have faith in them. I, 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 I. I'm afraid you have reached the limit of your call. But we still have an interview to complete. Don't worry about too much. We're at the final moments of the interview, so do stick around if you want to humor us a little bit more. Oh, such excitement. Oh, I've been waiting for this day. I've been waiting, waiting, and waiting. And waiting. And waiting. From this miserable fate. The Joker that has been dealt to me. I'll get my revenge on them all. I'll get revenge on them all soon enough. Fun times! Let's get back to this main show, alright? Alright. So, how did you meet your crewmates? Did you all get along in the first place? Well, we didn't exactly get along. Noah, she tried to kill me the first time. Practically suffocated me, nearly suffocated me in a very near satisfying way, if I'll admit. But did I just say that? What the hell? Well, anyway, yeah, she tried to kill me before, but we managed to kind of break bread. She does her thing, I do mine. But she is quite the powerhouse for someone for her size. And quite the sailor mouth, too. Hey. Yeah, no bat. At least not yet. Yeah, no. You're gonna have to hit me a lot harder than that. You're gonna have to hit me with a lot of spectacular force in order to stimulate something. What are you trying to make me do, you little cat? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to let everybody know about your proclivities. I'm sure that you've probably awakened to a lot of other things about how some... Okay. I would rather die a dignified death, okay? I don't want to be pulled around by any sort of situation whatsoever. And I have my dignity that I want to keep intact. Can we come to a truce on that? That depends. I mean, there's a lot of other embarrassing things I could throw. Nope. Okay. What about the other crewmates? Keep talking. Okay. We have Isla. She was pretty much tagged along with Sion, a member of the Fours. Fours is, like I mentioned, a similar group like the Aggressors. They're kind of like a Black Ops unit. Consists of 4 members, each have their own particular PTs and armor modules, and their specific kind of loadout. They have a bit of an oddball customization, as he mentioned before. Sion's particular PT is a guest pen that has mostly inner frame exposed, but is pretty much fast as all hell. It's a close quarters type. White, red, nicknamed or practically designated as the Gespens Hokma. The others include Waldschwein Hesed. There's the Huckbein Gebera. And I think the last one was the Schutzwald Malkuth. I don't know much of the details since he's kind of hush-hush about it, but those are the names that he mentioned. Almina is an auditor. An auditor in order to make sure that the species are actually aligned with certain standards and making sure that they don't destroy the world or the galaxy or anything else. I do know she has a robotic foot from some incident she never really mentioned too much about. But I don't pry into her matters all too well either. All I know is that she's quite the brainiac when it comes to things. In fact, she's the chief strategist of our group now. So she makes sure that we get our information and also provide contacts very easily. Yeah. As far as everybody else goes, I think it might be a bit too early to mention. But if I do want to kind of spoil a few things, I do have a certain someone. Oh, a certain someone within your story, I see. She's a Hinazumi that I've come to like, but she goes by the nickname the Icy Firebrand, mainly because of her particularly dark color scheme. Black, blue, and she has quite a cute tail. A bit of a meathead at times, considering that all she does is just train, but she does have some interesting quirks, to say the least. And have you explored any possible options? Options of what exactly? No. Nope. We're not delving into that. Nah. Like I said, I want to keep my dignity intact. Moving on. Are you planning on expanding to other locations within the Endless Frontier? As it stands right now, it's just an underground base. As for where it is, I can't say. All that I do know is a very large chasm in the middle of nowhere. In the middle of nowhere. Why are you signaling that? No, nothing. I'm not signaling anything. What about recruiting? What are you looking for? Any able-bodied fighters, especially those within particular skill sets. As long as you're willing to fight, as long as you're willing to participate or even kind of contribute by any means, whether it's just mess duty, cleanup, information gathering, and so on, we could pretty much bring up Delphinium to really great heights. We could do it together. And even if it's from other members from other communities, we can do so a lot better than that way. We don't have the the big boss approach. Big boss approach? You know, abduction, extraction, exfiltration, suggestion. Those particular measures. But hey, if they figure out that something's been screwing with them, I guess they'll probably come around. All right, are we done here? We still have one more question. It's a very poignant question at that too, considering the crest that you have. In your crest, you have a particular flower. Is that how you came up with the name Delphinium? Honestly, yeah. I guess the time that I had discovered where I was, I decided to look at a part of the base that was left alone. A small patch of grass that seemed to have some flowers growing there. In flower language, the delphinium is a sign of security, protection. I figured that since you want to have something that's a bit non-threatening in your crest in order to ensure that you're fighting for a good cause, I figured that a flower would probably make the most sense. I figured that delphinium probably is the most appropriate one. Because my mission is to protect. Even if I have to go on the offensive, as long as I protect the dimensions. And protect them from things like you. And believe me, you're not gonna win. You're not gonna win one bit. Mark my words. Even to my dying breath. The dimensions, Alpha, Omega, Delta, will be safe. Ace! Protocol! Frustrating little gnat. But this is more than enough stimulation. The clock is ticking. The game has begun. All will fall into place soon enough. And I need you, the people, to determine the fate of this one lone organism here. Do keep your eyes over for anything that involves making a choice. It'll be important to adhere to. Thank you for watching this special episode of In Character Universe. We will start taking questions now, so everybody can have their moment to get to know Otsdarva a little bit more. In fact, we did have some questions from Jidori. Let us see if we can find it. Or find them. The tag was #ICU Otsdarva. Yes, that's it. Oh, we have another one as well. Several questions from Iris Mondragon. But we'll start from here. Okay, so let us start. Don't care as long as you get to blast things. Hey, you'll have plenty of things to blast. And you'll have quite a blast doing it too. In fact, if Otsdarva was in a particular position to provide orders or provide positions, you would definitely be the demolitions expert. I would just make sure that you're under heavy surveillance so you won't cause any kind of pyrotechnics incidents. Unless we can say that we have fireworks at our base that we can showcase, even at the expense of other possible lives. So consider that possibility. So let me do a little something. Yes. Question time. We are answering from Twitter. If you have any more questions, either in the hashtag ICU Otsdarva or in the Twitch chat that you want to provide, then feel free to drop something there. But, question 1 from Jidori. What is my weapon of choice? Well, Otsdarva's weapon of choice includes the following particular weapons. This includes 1. The Orthus Anti-Material Rifle. A 2-firing mode anti-material rifle that energizes the rounds depending on how it's used. The bullets that I usually created are called Fang rounds. And these are high-yield weapon. These are high-yield... Oh, brain turning into mush. No, I don't want that turning into mush. I don't want it to be even a bit smooth. I want it to be more ridgy. Let's keep moving though. Fang rounds. Those are the electrically charged rounds that are meant to pierce through anything. Probably even like thick sheets of metal. Maybe tungsten, steel, or anything of a very composite kind. The caveat is that it has a huge amount of recoil when it's into that particular state, but it could also be fired normally like a regular anti-material rifle. It's 50 caliber rounds, but it could also be energized so it can be functioning more as like a slug. The other armaments include a light pistol called the Standard, or Helvetica Standard issue pistol, practically customized for recoilless firing, and has a standard magazine size, mostly of 10 rounds, fashioned after the USP-1. And last but not least, we have the good old, let me see if I have the information here. This makes it a little bit easier in order to refer to. Let me see. Do I have this information here? Because I'm pretty sure I wrote it down somewhere. But the third weapon is just a multi-tool wrench. It's a standard wrench, but it does have some very handy-dandy things that could be used. Of course, it's due for upgrades to something a bit more fascinating, but I digress. It'll be fun to experiment with. Any fond memories of your dimensional travels? I mean, we've only had one instance of dimensional travel, which was practically a visit with Jidori in particular. The cake was indeed splendid, though his mind did turn into perpetual mush. I had the pleasure of detoxifying it from his system, but I felt like I was starting to become a little bit, loosey-goosey, as one might say. Almost as if there's something far more evil than me. Why am I afraid whenever I refer to that? No. Whatever it is, it just brings back. Well, let's just keep moving on. Everyone has names for their signature move. What's mine? Well, I haven't really put too much thought into that, to be quite honest. Maybe when I do get like an actual powered armor, I might have some ideas of signature moves. But I think when it comes to certain weapons that I use, maybe that's a bit of a different story. If I ever use the Orthus, I do have the Fangbuster, which is a fully charged shot. It'll send you flying, yes, but it's well worth it in order to punch a hole inside of a mechanical target. That's for sure. Okay, let me answer something from here on the Twitch channel. Show some parts of the base have been empty for a while. Seen anything spooky? Nothing in. Haven't really seen anything spooky. But I've heard strange moanings from maybe the somatics department. I don't know if it's some ghost playing tricks or something that has been left deactivated and reactivated on its own. There have been some situations where androids have been moving on their own and most of them are in shambles. But as far as like something of the paranormal sort, I'm sure he has not come into contact with that anything in particular. But if he did, he would probably not want to talk about it until there's someone there in order to guide him through like a little child. After all, ghosts aren't capable of being punched. Therefore, you have reason to fear. We have another one from Amina. What sort of sights have you seen on your travels? Any breathtaking sights you never wish to forget? There's... Yeah, I think there's something that he has been through. During his first forays into being a bounty hunter, Old City. Forgive the lack of romantic naming convention, but that's how it is actually named by others. A world of old preserved technology that has been through generations and maintained properly. It does have somewhat of a look that resembles the Kowloon City. Something very picturesque that no one else could ever really say otherwise. It has its charm, to say the least, kind of reminding those of those old cyberpunk movies. You know, like Blade Runner. Or maybe Ghost in the Shell as well. The movies, mind you. He and Noah were on a mission in order to pretty much track down some sort of lost toy. And it managed to balloon into something far more interesting, and it turned into a whole entire bust in the process. Needless to say, they managed to get the toy in one shape. But as far as those that have tried to prevent it from leaving their hands, they were worse for wear would be the most innocent way of saying it. But that's how he probably perceives it. It's a sight to never forget it entirely. Such a rustic feeling does have a very nice atmosphere to it if you don't mind the hustle and bustle of something always moving. Yes, you know a guy who punched a ghost in the pit. How is it even Or maybe there might be some way in order to make it possible in order to punch ghosts. But we haven't exactly gotten to that particular point either. Maybe we might even meet an exorcist at some point that might teach us a thing or two. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I'm veering a little bit too much into fantasy land. It seems that Otsdarva doesn't like having his story being practically put onto display without it actually being put onto paper. I guess we're going a little bit too far ahead now, are we? But let's continue on. From Iris Mondragon within Twitter. I'm pretty sure no one in the right mind would call this place X. X Corp will probably be reserved for another kind of city with a particular singularity that would probably be something far less inviting than this particular website. But moving on. Have I considered the possibility of using my dimensional hops to travel back and forth in time? It depends on where. It depends on where my travels will take me. Needless to say, the time periods can vary. One moment I could be in the old heart of the Wild West. The next one I could be in some futuristic cyberscape that I have never really thought about entering. The practical cyberspace in general. Space and time practically commingle with each other, but sometimes there are some rules and boundaries to adhere to ensure that nothing gets turned into flux. And needless to say, he takes great pride in making sure that everything is in proper working order so nothing gets destroyed. Have I ever been to a world that would be considered fancy by most definitions? Not quite yet. I mean, it would be a very interesting foreigner to visit in particular. I know Michael Block does have his own fancy world, but that has its interesting quirks to it too, since he has little hints of alchemy and other things. But as far as like visiting it in general, I would like to see or like to visit a fantasy world at some point in my entire career. It would be breathtaking in order to just get away from all the high-tech mumbo jumbo and immerse yourself in nature to some degree. But of course, it wouldn't be easy for an engineer in order to not have anything technical in order to mess around with. But maybe some primitive designs in architecture and maybe even primitive engineering might be a nice little non sequitur. It gives a lot more character in order to work on these kind of things. The worst dimension or timeline I have ever seen. Hmm. Hey, cats. I'm pretty sure you know better. Well, I guess to answer in terms of myself, I have been forced to dwell within the null. Practical purgatory, if you will. Not much can be said about the null because not much exists within it. Some people use it as a prison for those that deserve nothing but the worst. That death is too good for them. Yet somehow I managed to get pulled out of it. But of course, as far as Otsdarva goes, he hasn't really visited that many dimensions in order to like say that something is just absolutely terrible. But I guess only time will tell. Only time will tell. Have I ever traveled alongside someone else? Well, the missions do take us to and fro. There's lots of things that we get to see, lots of places that we get to visit, lots of foods that we can try to enjoy. Though, of course, most of those end up being dine and dashes when they were particularly broke. Hey, you can't exactly live off of sea salt ramen from day in to day out. You need to break up the monotony. That said, there are plenty of places that me and Noah could probably visit. But as it stands right now, I don't really have much of a record in order to put down to say. But when it comes down to it, I'll let you know. Any further questions you may want to ask of Otsdarva? Or I could take some questions too. Though I am pretty sure you would like to have Otsdarva answer the questions instead, since he's the man of the hour. What menu item would you recommend from your base? So far, we don't have anything of a menu to speak. We just have like rations. I don't know if they're actually still good, but they're at least fresh. How does it feel to be stuck with that? I feel amazing. His vitality is quite impeccable, if you are wondering. Though it's a bit of a shame that propagation is impossible with him. He doesn't have that particular drive in mind, nor is he capable of anything either. Sad. I was willing to spend the night in the town just using whatever means possible in order to experiment with how capable he could be, but I digress. He could be good as a fighter, he could be good as a soldier, he could be good as so many other things, but I'm pretty sure the good doctor made sure that he is practically incapable of certain things. Yes, it is indeed Sag. Or, as one would probably, to his chagrin, it's definitely not poggers for him either. It's certainly something weird champ to mention out loud as well too, but I'm certain that he would probably thank me later at the long run. I mean, after all, I'm not him. I am everything. He could be but better. Just goes to show the external arguments are better. Yeah. I mean, it's not like you were planning on doing anything with him now, would you? Putting him into such compromising positions now, would you? Even if he is not myself. I mean, not himself. Sorry, a bit of a slip there. But, yeah. It's for, apparently, security reasons to make sure that no actual possible cloning is possible. If it ever comes down to it, the clone will be instantly destroyed by the nanomachines that will be passing through, and any kind of genetic information is effectively toxified, and nothing will even be possible to continue any further. But at best, he still has access to certain knowledge that would allow me to get things going. I mean, since I do have his body, I could probably say these kind of things, right? Oh, senpai, what are you gonna do to me? Could you be a little bit more forward with your approach? Or do you prefer a bit more of a cat and mouse game? Oh, but of course. But of course. Any further questions you might want to ask? Anything they might be more curious about? Anything that might be absolutely poggers to talk about in particular? Or I guess we could probably end it here and just make sure that we're all satisfied and set free. But of course. How are my chests so huge? Good old genetic engineering. Good old genetic engineering. Though it seems like the person that created this particular body had a bit of an inspiration with Rob Liefeld, that one comic artist that did that one picture of Captain America. So that explains the voluptuous chest that he has. Is it possible to rewrite his brain to always say Pog? I could try. But I'm pretty sure there's something within his brain, or I think it might be that AI companion of his that's preventing me from doing so. So as it stands right now, I cannot. I cannot rewire his brain in order to say things they cannot exactly agree with, such as Pog, Weird Champ, Veg, Sag, all those other things that these hip young people, or maybe some old people that are trying to get with the times on Twitch, are trying to do. What kind of cuisine does Ots prefer? He's a very voracious eater, so he has no particular cuisine in question. However, I have heard from his travels that he does enjoy a bit of steakhouse. Maybe some Asian food. Asian in the broad sense. Indian, Korean, Japanese, Thai, Italian. The sky is practically the limit with him. He is a growing boy, after all. And he's doing whatever it takes in order to have the strongest body in order to make sure that he is capable enough in order to fight another day. You have one for it. Ace. I'm pretty sure he would not like me being there. But I would assume, since he has a quantum computing engine within him, he can probably run Doom 10 times over. He could even run Boom, too, from that one girl from that game Nikke. I'm pretty sure her and him could be great friends. Great, great friends. Boom and Doom. What a combination. It's almost like the kindred spirits of another. But can Ace run Crisis 1, 2, and 3 at the same? He is a quantum computer. Of course he can run it. He has the graphics capabilities. But of course, that might be a matter of heating, so that might not be advised. And that might be also overstimulation of senses too. There's only so much maximum armor, maximum damage, maximum speed, maximum stealth can accomplish before it starts getting very, very, very numbing to the mind. Any further questions you might want to ask? Maybe it might be a saving grace for Otsdarva in order to come to a head at some point. Perhaps you may have something very, very important to ask about. How to get a cool robot of your own? Ever seen those flying around? Hmm. Well, it does take a bit of shop work. But thanks to the simulation process of Mass Builder, we have been able to create robots of our own. Something of a more original variety rather than something of a particular mold. Does Us remember this the 21st of September? Yes, he does. He remembers well enough to the point where it's, I think, etched into his mind genetically. It has a note. Don't let Taylor Swift sing Earth, Wind, and Fire songs again. I think that's what it was. I think that's what it was. But it could be a very unusual thing to throw in as a bit of trivia. A very unusual thing, in fact. So many. Oh, yes, it was a masterclass. Something very, very wonderful. I do have to admire the handiwork, in my opinion. It is something interesting. Oh, you ran out of questions? I'm surprised. I thought you would actually ask about the loves of his lives. The loves of his life. I emphasize loves because I'm pretty sure he has quite a lot to talk about them in particular. Cats? Well, Hinazumi isn't. Well, they aren't. Well, I guess considering her mother was also a practical martial arts master, ended up marrying an MMA fighter as well. So it was a marriage of two things between two people and of two fighting styles. But I guess the Hinazumi side more leans towards Baji Quan than anything else. It's a more heavy hitting kind of martial arts. But when it comes down to it, MMA does have its very universal purposes, especially when it comes to ground game. If you know what I mean. It's cats! Cats! Oopsie, I think I've struck a bit of a nerve. But of course. Or do you want me to talk about more? Do you want me to talk a lot more about Bana or Kafka or anybody else that you've had such inconceivable crushes over? Cats? Okay, maybe that might be a bit of a soft spot. That might be a bit of a soft spot. Oh yes, that phase. I don't know what it is with him. Maybe he didn't really have much of a mother figure. Or maybe he just wanted to be loved in a different way. I mean, he does want to be held. He does want to be cherished. He does want to do a lot of other things. But, of course, it comes with a very interesting catch 22, so to speak. That the letter M does get thrown around from time to time. I mean, I understand some people have their awakenings. Some people even think about things that they never thought would even happen to them, but it does. That no one should bear the kind of humiliation that's in store for them, but of course, they brave through it anyway and just not find that fulfillment. Think last one? One last one? Fire away. I'm pretty sure he would enjoy answering that question, or if not, I could always answer in his stead too. I could always answer in his stead. So, fire away. And if anybody else has any more questions, I am more than happy to answer. I'm more than happy to oblige. Because we still have plenty of time. Plenty of time. Does Otz hear the beepings in his nightmare, the sounds of missile, the smell of oil and propellant, and the glints of your plane flying at him? I'm pretty sure he is much more terrified of the things that came after those moments. But it does weigh heavily on his mind rather greatly. It does reopen some old wounds, but it still has some moments where... Let's just say that beating was a biblical beatdown. One that was for the ages, a one-sided wash that not even... Whew. Can I make a comparison here? Not even Iakujan can even salvage that kind of ass whooping. And he was the biggest jobber in the show, but he managed to get a dub anyway. But Otsdarva during that moment, goodness gracious, he was just getting his ass handed to him. So bad that I couldn't even bear it, but even just... I peered through his memories, and every single moment was just constant regret of his playing choices and the lack of preparation, which someone named Creme de la Creme offered to provide some training with. Of course, he had some second doubts on that, but those second doubts became his downfall. And from that day forward, he not only lost a very miserable defeat, but he was also dragged back into a game he never wanted to be back into. So, if you're wondering if he does have PTSD, or if he is shell-shocked by that particular development, then yes, he is still shell-shocked. Any further questions? Because it was certainly not a very poggers moment in the slightest. Yes, because he got the wound. Oh, the bunny. I see. We'll see how that plays out. I'll be surrendering control to Otsdarva, but the game will still go on. I do implore everybody in order to spread the word and try to help make the right choices for Libra to rescue this poor, soon-to-be distorted soul. Because it seems like she is having a wonderful time and having a nice little conversation with good old Otsdarva Integer. Well, this looks like it's a time to finally call quits for the night. Thank you for sticking around and also participating in this very special episode of In Character Universe. I and we look forward to the events to come. And I sure do hope that you will also stick around for the play. Meow meow. Ciao ciao.